When I first started working with Indigenous youth, I was intimidated. I was white and felt like an intruder. I knew some of the Canadian history and a little bit about Indigenous culture, but certainly not enough to facilitate STEM to youth and be respectful and relevant, right? I thought I needed all the answers to be a good ally, and I imagine that might resonate with a lot of you here today. But the answers were actually right in front of me, the youth. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could all learn together? Actua's content model is designed to be relevant to youth, highlight skill and career development, and then engage mentors from the community. So my work as a content specialist is to design these learning experiences and help our instructors provide an empowering experience for the youth that they work with. Our STEM content uses local and relevant topics to engage Indigenous youth and show them that STEM isn't brought to them by their teachers, it's actually always been there. By carefully aligning STEM concepts and aspects of Indigenous culture, we can create opportunities for youth to not only learn, but actively share their knowledge and have the chance to be the experts on their own culture and communities. The Inukshuk on the left is used traditionally to help with navigation, a marker on the land. What kind of STEM connections can you draw around navigation and wayfinding? You could also look at stars and star stories. The Komatik is an Inuit invention, specially designed to be flexible enough to handle the harsh terrain. What lessons can be learned about forces and friction or materials engineering? What about biology? Using animals and plants relevant to the region not only helps to engage youth, but it helps show them that you as an educator care about their experiences and their own knowledge on the subject. This is really critical if you're teaching in communities with diverse youth whose lived experiences and cultural norms are different from your own. Allyship is a lot more than saying, I support you. It's saying, I accept you, understand you, and if I don't understand you, I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that I do. It's not a person's responsibility to educate you about their culture or identity, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Being respectful and then identifying what you don't know can help empower youth to share their knowledge, and that knowledge exchange is a really powerful and beautiful thing. So something that I've done with Actua is community mapping, and I'm not going to go too deep into this. You can find it in the teacher resource gallery on the Actua gallery. But really what we do is when we start a summer camp, we get the kids to really think about their community and to draw the community as they see it, thinking about some of the STEM connections where they find knowledge and things like that. So I encourage you to check that out. It's a really great activity for kind of learning about the diverse perspectives and experiences that you have in your classroom. So the power of diversity in science is unprecedented. So diverse perspectives on teams allow for strong innovation, better collaboration. So in late 2021, University of Toronto opened a queer and trans research lab, one of the first of its kind. Initiatives like this are super critical to ensure that researchers have like safe and collaborative spaces to connect and collaborate on research. And I really like a quote from the article that problems are best solved at the intersection of diverse learning, talent, and perspective. Canada isn't quite there yet, but we're trying. Some things you could share with your students that are really exciting. Canada is the first country to assign sex at birth and current gender identity in nationwide census. The province and territory with the best transgender health programs is the Yukon. And yeah. And then finally, I just wanted to take a quick look at trans medicine in Canada. So unfortunately, in some studies, over 50% of trans folks reported needing to actually educate their provider on trans issues. So that's a really big deal. Over 50% of people actually have to educate their provider on trans issues. So it really is a big problem. And then I really like that Jason was talking about like a search bias on Google, because that really comes up if you're looking at the medicines that the transgender people use. So saprodorone acetate, if you search it up on Google, pretty much all of the results like aren't for its use in HRT. So it's a drug that I take every day, and it's actually usually prescribed for prostate cancer. And then you'll encounter similar search bias on estrogen or progesterone, tending to only find search results about cis women. So it's not only important for queer and trans youth to see themselves in STEM, they'll be at the forefront of ensuring that these voices are heard in trans medicine, and they may even be the ones that synthesize a new drug for trans healthcare. Diversity and representation don't just make people feel welcome and safe, it can genuinely save lives in the right contexts. So Just to quickly wrap up, just a few tips for the classroom using gender neutral language. So there's lots of options like folks, students, learners, scientists, engineers. The sky really is the limit. Avoiding grouping students based on assumed identities, like don't do boys versus girls and things like that. Using empowering language that's descriptive. So good job on your approach versus I really like the creativity of your approach. And this can get really gendered. So you got to be really careful about only providing feedback on aesthetics for female identifying students. And then sharing diverse STEM examples, both people and achievements. So Dr. James Makokis is a great example. He's a two-spirit Cree doctor working to decolonize medicine. So I highly advise looking him up. Really amazing. And just a couple of quick links that you can use. These are some resources on gender and diversity. And then this is a really fantastic book teaching about gender diversity in your classroom.